Hello, everyone. I hope you're well. Today is the day. Well, we're going to find out today. The arrest has been made according to law enforcement. They've made an arrest. So we are all just really cannot wait for 10 o'clock to get here. I do want to say, I decided to play on my phone. It will be packed. You're right. It will be. I'm not going to get to go, obviously, since I'm still in my closet. I have the honor of doing one of my very, very favorite clients' hair. She was just diagnosed again with cancer, and the chemo will definitely make her hair fall out. So we are going to be cutting it short, and just so it's not as traumatizing. So that's what I'm going to be doing later on today. I will be free for the conference and a little bit post-conference, but I just wouldn't have had enough time to get all the way back to town to go to work. So I'm not going to be able to go, which, I do have a fear of crowds, so I'm not too upset. I'm going to watch it with friends. So at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be going, I believe, on to It's Crime and Shame just for a little bit. I think, to just kind of hang out with them. I love all three of them. So, and I know that Gray Hughes Investigates is going to be live. I believe he said around 7, but that is his time. So should be coming up real soon, just to kind of hang out. And, I know Incog, like getting to talk to her in Incog, or not Gray and Incog on Incognito Society. If you haven't watched that yet, go watch that. It was really good. But this morning, I just wanted to take a moment to honor the beautiful girls. And, Miss Becky has posted, today is the day. I'm almost positive without fail, every single day since this happened, or shortly after this, the double murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German happened. And it's always, today is the day, ... And she picks different pictures, and just her way of honoring the girls and not forgetting, and a reminder to everyone that sees them that their murder is still unsolved, and talk about the strength of families. Mind blowing. They don't want to be, but they are, kind of a deal. When your loved one is murdered, you don't want to be a hero. You just want your loved one back. And, but suffice it to say, they are all heroes. Look what they have done for their community in the face of the most devastating loss any human can have, losing a child. That is the ultimate grief, despair. And in the face of just their disparity, they rose up a park. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's breathtaking. And they did that with sheer willpower and the help of good people that wanted to see their dream come to fruition. And man, did they ever, and that right there alone, and all of the criticism the families have had to endure over these last 5.5, almost 6 years is, I haven't seen anything like it. you know, just the barrage of attacks on all of the different members of that family who did not deserve it. I can remember it started a lot with obviously Derek German. He had to go through it. And then Cody Patty. And then, you know, Mike Patty, Becky Patty, even Tara, Kelsey, Anna, and Anna's family, her stepbrother. The list goes on and on of people that have been wrongfully attacked and blamed. And I hope people understand that I have to hope some of these people are flat out horrible human beings, and there's like psychopaths. There's no getting through to them. They lack empathy. They lack the ability to be humble or to apologize or say they're wrong. They're just bottom feeders. And that's one category. The other category I feel like is people that have a lot of fear of this happening to their loved one. And because it's everyone's greatest fear that your child be killed. And in order to distance themselves from the murder of a potential murder of their child, they blame the victim. Well, if they weren't where they were. Well, if, they were doing this online. All forking kids are doing the same thing. Those were good kids. You dare try to tell me my kids aren't good kids. I'll punch you in the face. But they're online. It's outlandish and it's just plain ridiculous. But I do feel like people want to blame the victims and blame the victims' families, because if it's their fault, then I'm safe, kind of an attitude. And it's very selfish. It's extremely selfish. And it's just that self-centeredness that it takes to put that out there online. Think that all you want. Know that your thinking is not correct. It can happen to anyone, and it has time and time and time again. No one deserves to be murdered, and no family wrongfully deserves to be accused. I'm just sickened by some of the things that I see aimed towards this family. And I hope that they sue, like I said, on Incognito Society. I hope they sue. Or I think Gray said it. Yeah. I hope that they have a huge lawsuit and that they get a lot of money out of it. And just because I'm being spiteful in the moment, but I'm not going to do that right now. This is about Abby and Libby, two little girls that were murdered on February 13th of 2017 in Delphi, Indiana. They were out on a hiking trail that is popular. I don't care what anyone says. The bridge area has been the focus of many, many senior pictures, prom pictures. It is a beautiful area, and being a nice day on February 13th, they were off school because of a built-in snow day. Nothing crazy, just that's how it is when you live in Indiana. You have snow days built into your schedule, and if it doesn't snow and you go to school, then you get that day off. And that's what happened. It was in the high 40s that day, which in Indiana, I mean, I'm wearing short sleeves and no sock, some not flip-flops, but that's a warm day. When you're used to below 30, like super duper, I think like that winter there was some 10 degrees, 18 degrees, that's cold. It's not as cold as some places, but it's cold. And so when you have a rise all of a sudden like that, even though it's not super duper warm compared to, depending on where you live, for us, it's very warm. So they went out there that day and they were walking the trails, taking pictures, just being girls. My kids do the same thing all the time. My daughter and her best friend would walk down to the creek where we live and take pictures and walk the trails back there by themselves all the time. Never thought a thing about it. You don't know you don't live in a safe area when you live in like small little towns until something like this happens. And then it's a reminder that it can happen anywhere to anyone. And, so that's what they were out there doing that day. Libby takes a picture of the bridge, and I'm sure, they were wanting to cross it as a feat. I have a lot of cousins in Kentucky, and there's a bridge there that is just, it's a scary one. And that's the thing to do. Like, it's like a rite of passage is to run across that bridge, except for that one has a train that will come along. So there's that. But it is a very big bridge, and it's very high bridge. And so they're walking on that bridge. She takes a picture of Libby walking. Libby is kind of behind Abby on the bridge. And then she takes a video. And in the video is their soon-to-be killer. Libby had enough presence of mind to record, and she was able to get a video and the killer saying, "Guys, down the hill." And that video and the stills and the sketches have haunted everyone for 5.5 years, since February 13th of 2017, or soon after when they released them. They have released 2 sketches. And I hate sketches. I just don't really like them. I've been in a lot of other cases where people get so focused on the sketch that they miss the forest for the trees. And they have released 2 that, in my opinion, one is old, like just kind of scraggly, unkempt. I don't know, just unattractive, just meh. Then the new sketch is kind of generic. Like if you do portraits, you know what I mean by that. And it is not very similar. I mean, I know there's differing opinions, and I've seen where people overlay them on each other. I don't think I see it. I don't think they look anything alike. There's a press conference that happened in 2019 where they released this new sketch, changed the age, changed a bunch of things on the suspect description, and then they have proceeded to change the suspect's description several times over the course of the years. And finally, earlier this week, 3 days ago, I believe it was 3 days ago, a press conference for today at 10 o'clock. And I posted the links for them above. And yeah, they are the first person that told me was Hoosier Cold Cases. He called, and he just could barely even like get it out. And a great guy and a good friend. And he called a small group of us, and we were all talking. And in the paper, the paper was something a monumental press conference to be held on Monday. Information being an update for the double murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. And yeah, So they did not want, they did not name the suspect, but it was leaked. I don't know why they thought that wasn't going to happen, but it was. And so today we're not sure, what we're going to be all finding out. It could just be that what we already know, this Richard Allen guy, that he has been charged and is being held on a $20 million bond. If anyone has that article, please send it to me, because I've been unable to find it. So I don't want to, and I have been really busy this weekend. So it's not that I've looked diligently, but if you happen to have it, please send it to me. I read some of the comments. Hey, Layla. The haters have dug in their heels and doubling down. Won't apologize for the horrible things they've said about the family members. Yeah, those are the psychopaths of the true crime. The ones that it shows their character when in the face of like irrefutable evidence. And I'm sure it's not going to matter after today. It's not going to matter after the trial, and there's already people of just, I see a lot of it. Well, this is just one in a course of many. This isn't the killer. And all of a sudden we've gone from thinking pretty much this whole time that there was one killer. Maybe someone else knows about it and helped. That's been my theory, and a theory of a lot of others, clean up. But that it's predominantly been the man on the bridge, just like Doug Carter said. He is the suspect. He is the killer of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. And so now, and that's the weird thing is I don't understand it. I don't understand when people want, like, gotta have like more, like it's gotta be more, it's not bad enough. It's not horrendous enough that two little girls were murdered brutally in the middle of the day in a small town that's like Mayberry, and whatever happened to them was obviously very traumatic for all who had to witness that in person and see that. And there, to think that it's any worse than it already is just weird. It's just plain weird. It's horrific enough. And I'll tell you what, the family is about to go through a really tough time, especially if this goes to trial. Trials are very, very hard. You're there all day on an uncomfortable bench, sitting in the same room as the person that murdered your family member. And you just have to sit there. You just have to sit there, and you have to walk past them when the court adjourns. You have to walk past them when there's a break. They're sitting here, up here, and you're sitting right here. Think about that. All day, every day for sometimes weeks. And not only that you are in the same room and you have to see their side profile all day, every day for however long the trial lasts. You also have to listen to the medical examiner, the crime scene technicians, the detectives, the interrogation videos, the images of what happened to your child by this person that's just sitting right there. That is not easy. And then if you get a conviction and the jury finds the person guilty, literally right there in the courtroom, they're going to have set up for the the appeal process and post conviction relief, which is a separate thing. And this person that's murdered your loved one now you have to worry about the appeals court for the state overturning the conviction or changing the sentencing or having a resentencing hearing, overturning the conviction, even if it is can be tried again. Like, think about all the things like that. And then there's the next appeal process. I believe there's 3. And in a death penalty case, the stakes are even higher. And unfortunately, if you look historically, a lot of them are overturned. They're overturned. So now you've had to go through hell for a good 15 some years. There's a case in Tennessee that he was life with the possibility of parole. So literally like 18 years in. I mean, brutally murdered this little girl in a heinous, sadistic, fetish type murder. And like that's just insane to me to think that that kind of a person, and it was a pretty young guy too, that could get out. And that the family had to go through that, and that they had to basically these parole boards are just, I don't even know who they are made up of. I want to learn more about them. I need to. But parole boards are, I don't get it. I don't understand why they are so ridiculous. Like, how can they, where are their brain cells? Like, where are they? For the people that they let out versus the people that they keep behind bars for life, on drug trafficking charges. Like, I don't get it. I would much rather, I feel a lot safer with a murderer. You know what? Because you can just choose not to do drugs. When someone else chooses to murder you, you don't get a choice in that. You don't get to say, nah, not today. And the drug epidemic is absolutely horrendous. It still doesn't trump murder and pedophilia, and that someone could get probation for molesting a child is the worst thing I can hear. I can't, I don't even know what to do with that information. Get house arrest where they can be at their own home and all comfortable. And you know why? It's because they're expensive. I'm looking into that David Elliott Penton, and in his case, at least they found 2 chomos that could room together, and that's why, but they're not safe. And why should they? Why should they be given extra protection and all the taxpayers' money spent on their well-being when they have stolen the innocence from a child? Children should be the most precious thing that we have, because, like the song says, children are the future. Hey, Justice Served Daily, how are you? I know, it's disturbing. Hey, CJ. Yeah, it's yeah. I used to be all about the death penalty. But after really, really researching it and studying it, like, if it was like, I'll never forget, there was this episode, and I still haven't been able to find it. I actually looked for it on Gray Hughes Investigates, where he was reading just like an obscure article. I think he'd even found it on happenstance of looking up another case. But it was this guy who had murdered this I think it was a little girl, and had her in like, it was like a bed and breakfast. Like, it was a weird story. He was literally caught, tried, and executed in a matter of like weeks, like that. That would be different, but that's not what happens. And I understand. And I, it's like it's a double-edged sword. But what ends up happening is a ton of money is spent. The family goes through absolute hell wondering if that is going to be overturned, and the burden of proof is even higher, which it should be. And the risk of it getting overturned, even the sentence overturned, even if the conviction isn't, is pretty high. And it's just, I feel like it's just not worth it. Life without the possibility of parole on a plea agreement, that sounds pretty good to me, because they're never getting out. There is no parole. There is no chance of parole. They will spend the rest of their life behind bars where they belong, and they will not be able to appeal it, because they have confessed, and meaning that they have told and owned what they did. BTK, he stood in front of the court and told all the details of what he did to all of his victims. And multiple have taken plea deals. And I feel like, for me anyway, I think that would be the outcome that I want. The murderer of my aunt killed himself, and he didn't do a very good job of it. So he got to lay out in the woods for quite a long time, like a day or so, before he finally succumbed. And for years I thought, and other family members have thought, that was just, stripped of justice. Now, like, being in the true crime world, I'm like, no. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against the death penalty because of some like weird, belief, like cyst ideology or anything like that. I am totally for the death penalty. I'm just not for the process and the toll that it takes on the family, and the details of it. Hey, True Crime Web, how are you doing? I wish I had got to see you. I work on the Thursdays, and then I got super sick. So, yeah, but I'm glad you're here. And I wish more people would attend the Cold Truth University of Logic. Yeah, nothing I'm saying is like anything but just like reasonable. Just be reasonable. But yeah, so I was going to take a moment to read about Abby and Libby. So here we go. Let me find it. There we go. This is from the Abby and Libby Memorial Park. The link is at the top of the chat. Let me just go ahead and repost it again really quick before I forget. And this is Abby here on the left, and this is Libby. Abigail Williams. Abby was an eighth grader at Delphi Community Middle School, where she played saxophone in the school band and was on the volleyball team. She had attended several area churches with her family. She enjoyed reading and had a big reading counts number in her language arts class. She loved to camp and swim and loved being outdoors. She liked riding ATVs with her family on camping trips to Michigan. She loved all animals, especially her cat Bongo. She enjoyed photography and art, drawing and creating little masterpieces that decorated her mother's home. She and her good friend Libby were excited and looking forward to planning their next 4 years of school together. She would have celebrated her 14th birthday on the 23rd of June. In honor of Abby's love for the outdoors and the arts, our plan for a bandshell and 2 playgrounds will allow children in the future years to enjoy the same things she did. Liberty German. Liberty, Libby, was 14 years old and an 8th grader at Delphi Community Middle School. She was involved in several school and recreational sports, including softball, soccer, volleyball, and swimming. She loved art, photography, and playing the saxophone in the school band. Her free time was spent going on adventures with her older sister, spending time doing family activities, and hanging with her many friends. She loved going to Florida on school breaks and trying new things. Libby and Abby were excited to start their adventure of high school together, and she was going to compete against her sister on the swim team. February 13th, 2017, it all changed. In honor of Abby and Libby's love for the outdoor adventure sports and the arts, a memorial park is being built. It includes a bandshell, 2 playgrounds, 3 softball fields, and walking trails, which will allow children and parents in the future years to enjoy the many things the girls did. So that is why we are here today. Never forget that. And you keep that in the forefront of your mind, especially as a creator and a commenter. If you keep that in the forefront of your mind, that this little girl and this little girl were murdered, they're dead, and someone is responsible for that. If you keep that in the forefront of your mind and you keep love first, you won't have to answer for the way that you've acted, because if you keep that first, then you're not a huge dick online. Let's just be real. And it's unfortunate that more people in the true crime community don't understand that. Mm-hmm. All right. This is the guy named BG, which, I can't stand saying it out loud, like BG. It's just like so ridiculous. But the more I think about it, the more fitting it is. Just like the lamest name for this lame ass coward of a killer. This is him here. This lame ass BG. Yeah, just real lame. It's real lame-o. And then we have what was I going to do? It's escaped my mind. Oh, I know what I remember. I wanted to read this, and in lieu of the new information that there is a person, and I'm sorry, but I believe it, if they the family has, today is the day, exclamation point, exclamation point. Several different family members, after it was already leaked by someone else, not them, um, have confirmed. And so I think it's pretty much a done deal for this Ricky Allen. But yeah, hold on, we got a troll coming up in here. I don't know if I have any mods or not. So that's fun. Yeah, Audrey. Let's talk about that after I read this. But I wanted to read this in light of like the new information to see if we thought that they knew then and were just building their case. Because remember in 2018, Nick McLeland, who is the lead prosecutor in Carroll County, he was the one that hosted the press conference, or it might have been the 2019 one, because there was one. I can't remember if I think that year was 2018, and then there wasn't one in 2019 on February 13th, and then there was one in April. But I'm not sure. So it was either 2018 or 19. But he had said that, my office is working every day on building this case. And you got to wonder, like, without knowing who the person is, I'm sure there's a lot of work, but like 4 years worth of work. So it just kind of always made me wonder if they knew. And then after the 19th presser, I was sure that there was going to be arrest in a couple of weeks, and there wasn't. And so I just wanted to read this to see if there's anything that we can like kind of pick up on in light of the news of Ricky Allen. I wasn't sure quite what to expect when I walked out, but I gotta say, the Delphi community, I gotta say to the Delphi community how grateful I am. You inspire people you don't even understand when, you don't even understand why. Information is being released today is the result of literally thousands and thousands of hours of extraordinary investigative efforts by Delphi, Carroll County, the FBI, the Indiana State Police, and countless other agencies. This community surrounded us some 26 months ago, and you did everything you could to support us. But most importantly, you surrounded the family of these two little girls. Gosh, I'll never forget it. After you hear what we're going to release today, I am going to ask for your continued support, your continued understanding, your empathy and compassion as we move forward to find out who did this. And we will. As we move forward to find out who did this, and we will. We're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle. And if you remember, he changed his whole inflect, like his voice, this was just like reading this just to get it over with. There was no like heart in it at all, this part. We're seeking the public's help to identify the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the old CPS DCS welfare building in the city of Delphi that was abandoned on the east side of County Road 300 North next to the Hoosier Heartland Highway between the hours of noon to 5 on February. And he misspoke and said 14th, but it's actually the 13th. If you were parked there or know who was parked there, please contact the officers at the command post at the Delphi City building. At the time, I wouldn't pay it no mind because I thought it was just a distraction in order to get all the news people out of the middle of town and over there, and to give people something to think that they can like find, and people, I've seen it, how so just like listen to yourself when you're saying these words. I'm trying to find the killer. And then using that to justify what you do. Let's just like not do that. And just don't do that. And well, they asked for our help and da 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 da, and like all of this, like big to do. They're asking for the public's help that actually knows something, not something that someone's found on Facebook or some random like Reddit feed or web sleuths or, Instagram. Like if you find something great, turn it in, obviously. But the public that they're talking to when they say that is the public that knows the killer and knows that what they've done, or highly suspects someone that they know. Almost, I would say 95% of the time, that's what they mean when they say seeking the public's help. They don't mean for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to go around and harass innocent people and accuse them of murder publicly. That's sure as hell not what they're asking. They're not asking the public to go out and write books and make matrices and do all this weird stuff. That's not the public's help that they're wanting. They actually quite often say to stop doing that. Can the public help? I believe that Gray Hughes has helped tremendously. I believe that what Incog did was so respectful and gave everyone a timeline of what happened. Hoosier Cold Cases has been amazing in getting into the mind of the killer. There's so many good channels, and I'm not even thinking of all of them. Those are just some of off the top of my head that have been very respectful in their coverage of this case. I personally have not covered it until I did the Kagan Klein stuff, and I did Garrett Kurtz, but for personal reasons, which now now they don't I'm so sorry. I'm getting back to this. Please keep in mind the person talking is one person and is the person on the bridge with the girls. This is not two different people speaking. Please listen to it very, very carefully. We are also releasing video recovered from Libby's phone. This video has never before been previously released. The video shows the suspect walking on the bridge. When you see the video, watch the person's mannerisms as they walk. Watch the mannerisms as he walks. Do you recognize the mannerisms as being someone that you might know? Right there, he says it. Someone that you might know. You don't know the mannerisms of a stranger. Remember, he is walking on the former railroad bridge. Because of the deteriorated condition of the bridge, the suspect is not walking naturally. Whoa, scared me half to death. Alarms. I've set many, so I should just go ahead and do that now and turn them all off. I was so afraid I was going to oversleep today that I set a bunch of alarms. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and joined Randy's, or just joined in the chat on Randy's live. He was on at 5 this morning. The suspect is not walking naturally due to the spacing between the ties. During the course of this investigation, we have concluded the first sketch release will now become secondary as of today. The result of the new information and intelligence over time leaves us to believe the sketch, which you will see shortly, is the person responsible for the murders of these two little girls. So the sketch is the person responsible for the murder of these two little girls. We also believe this person is from Delphi currently or has previously lived here, visits Delphi on a regular basis, or works here. We believe this person is currently between the age range of 18 to 40. He might appear younger than his true age. Speaking directly to the killer who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. Check on that one. For more than 2 years, you never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy. This is called reframing the investigation. You can look it up and read all about it. Reframing the investigation. But we likely have interviewed you or someone close to you. We know this is about power to you, and you want to know what we know, and one day you will. A question to you: what will those closest to you think when they find out that you brutally murdered two little girls? 2 children. Only a coward would do such a thing. We are confident that you have told someone what you have done, or at the very least, they know because of how different you are since the murders. We try so hard to understand how a person could do something like this to 2 children. I recently watched a movie called The Shack, and there's also a book that talks so well about evil, about death, and about eternity. To the murderer, I believe you have just a little bit of conscience left. And I can assure you that how you left them in that woods is not what they are experiencing today. To the family, I hope that you all will give them some time, because we're going to be asking that there is no media inquiry or no media response for at least 2 weeks. I just want, and I hope you understand why. The family found out about this information this morning. I just want the family to know that when I take my last breath on this earth, I will be thinking of them. They're going to be a tremendous amount of questions. I know that. I know that. Never in my career have I stood in front of something like this. Please be patient with us. Please. We are just beginning. We are just now beginning. And I can tell you on behalf of the sheriff and the police chief and so many other partners that have stood with us over this period of time, we will not stop. And then this is that Captain Dave Burston? I just unveiled the person that we believe is responsible for the murder of these 2 little girls. So I invite media to take a look at that now. We're also going to show a video not previously released the superintendent spoke to, and also the audio that's additional to what has been previously released. It's only a slight change in it. So give Sergeant Riley just a second and he get that up and ready. Appears to sound like guys down the hill. Stand by for the video, please. There is no sound in the video. And then they release this sketch. And if you take off the hair, you can see where, like, I'm guessing that this face shape was one that was already if you look at this line here, because normally you would draw this line like super duper thin. That way it would all just be shaded in. And if you look at like some of the lines on like the nose, the harsher lines on the eyes, I feel like it was just like a shaded in, like basic face shape, jaw shape, and then features added to it. But if you look at that nose and you look at old Ricky, if you look at his nose, like, it's kind of crazy. That's the only time that I've ever seen like something like match super close. Just with like the nostrils and how they go up and the tip of the nose kind of comes down. The tip of his nose is like is more oval shaped. Not super atypical, but it's definitely a distinctive like type feature, because all of our noses are, and the shape of them can vary, but we have like the same standard shape with tons of variations, and his variation is a longer, more oval bulb of the nose, and then the nostrils kind of go and fade back to where this part called, I can't remember, is almost like really kind of thin. Yeah, see, if you look kind of like where it's just like very thin, it's not super duper defined. Obviously he's got a beard on. It does appear to be red. I like a reddish color, reddish blonde. Yeah, uncharged pickles. It does. It really does. But see, the thing is like the public doesn't understand that. Like, you can be a portrait artist like Nancy Noel. I don't know if you guys like, you know, like this is Nancy Noel. This was my friend. She was my friend as well. This is Nancy Noel's portraits. You know, this is a oil painting. That's like the cream of the crop. I wanted her to do it. Like you know, like I had even talked to her about it. She's done something similar before, and it was crazy, the accuracy. And so I really wanted her to do it. But yeah, I mean, just a super talented artist. You know, that's a sketch and oil painting. But so a lot of people don't understand the difference in someone that can draw like a sketch for a police, you know, like that type of sketch versus, oh, where's my, no. Yeah. Like, you see now how basic that is, of like how it could be. And even the old new sketch, the one that was created 5 months after the murder, but it was the newest one. This one was done right after the murder. But if you look at the hooded eyes, you can see that that doesn't appear to be just like a drawing mistake. It appears to be very purposeful, because it's really easy to do that line and then to make the eye. That's one of the easier parts. Now, getting them to be super even, not so hard. And you can see right here where this line that goes here, as far as the sketch goes, isn't correct. Like, this line should not be here, right here. If you can see where my arrow is, see how this side is more shaded. Obviously this side is going to appear a little different, but this is a straight on picture, so it really should just drop down, and more shading should be right in through here. So it makes it look a little bit like, I can remember thinking, like, does he have like some kind of a tumor on this eye, or is it just the way that it's shaded? And it's hard to know. It could have been done purposeful, but I don't think so. Now, if you look at this guy, obviously he's got hooded eyes. His eyes are very hooded. Mine are too. The nose is the crazy thing. Like, if you look at this nose here, and of how it kind of goes back. Now, obviously, this is not a good nose. This is not done well at all. I'm just saying. More power to you. Like, a lot of times these are done really fast and they get a general idea, but they don't want to make them as detailed as what I showed you on Nancy Noel. But the philtrum, this right here, is pretty short. Not super similar to Ricky Allen, but again, it's a sketch, you know, but it's usually something that people recognize. Oh, here we go. Let's just put them close. Yeah, well, that'll be good. I know Bloke did one of these and it was like, whoa, that was crazy. Oh, this might be his actual video. I'm sorry. I didn't notice that. It is. Okay. I'm sorry about that, Bloke. Oh. Let me go ahead and share. True crime bloke. Oh, he's here. Hey, buddy. How are ya? Hey, crime geek. Glad you're here. Professor Pug. Hello, Angel Bear. Good morning, Todd. Northern Light. Good morning. Glad you're all here. We're just kind of going over some things. Just got done reading reading that. I don't know. I don't think there's anything in there to indicate that they knew. Again, it's just my opinion. Opinions are like butts. Everybody's got one. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's anything, significant. Oh, thank you. And yes, he is awesome. Watching from Australia, nearly 12 a.m. here. Wow. It's going to be a late night for you, Rotten Flesh 2000. Hey, Captain Underpants. Yeah, so I just from reading the transcript, like there isn't anything in there to me other than like obviously like this is he's a family man, like, or on the surface we don't know if that goes into his heart. Doesn't seem possible, but he has a wife and child and parents and everything, just like every normal every average Joe. And he works at the local CVS. Just kind of a forgettable person. I did hear on Gray Hughes Investigates last night, he was reading a post, and it was, oh, thank you, dude. Thank you. It was, a story about him in a bar. He's a pool player. He likes to play pool, pocket billiards. And he, was ready to go and his wife is just like a social butterfly. And if you looked at all the videos that she had up, you definitely be able to see that of like polar opposite type personalities just in the videos of one, and it's almost like he's intentionally trying to be quiet at times or to kind of dip his face. And that could just be a personality thing and not indicative of a person trying to hide from social media to not be seen because of the fact that they're a killer. Most men are not killers that do that. My husband can't stand it to have pictures taken or anything like that. So he's not on any social media, and he doesn't like to, especially we have family pictures, obviously, and pictures, but especially like the surprise ones where your kids are filming you. We get that all the time. I don't know about other parents, but it drives me up a wall. Stupid Snapchat, my kids, and they think they're hilarious, but they're just really not that funny. But I'm going to. Yeah, his wife laughed a lot, very giggly, very opposite of him. And this talked about her being like kind of like the fluttering around the room and me, talking to everybody in this table to that table and just like very, very outgoing, and him not so much, always nice, polite, but in her shadow, really. And I guess this one night, if this story is true, which it seems true. And I agreed with Gray when he said like it was so boring that it seemed like it really did happen. But the bartender or a waitress at the bar was recounting this story and said that it seemed like once when his ego was in question, he kind of lost it and was like, he was ready to go and she wasn't. And so he had said something about beating her up once they got out into the parking lot. And like the energy in the bar changed for this bartender or waitress. And like, it wasn't like, if it was a joke, like, it landed wrong, and they just saw him change and like anger kind of come out. And those are the things. Those are, they're that show, Evil Lives Here. Thank you, Lake Michigan, for remembering that for me. Evil Lives Here. It's a show on Investigation ID. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. You will be busy for a long time because it's so good. But they had said they're in there. It's talking to family members of killers, not just serial killers, after the fact, like after they found out that their loved one was the killer, and most of them are in complete shock. And but in retrospect, and then it scrolls across the screen and it says, and there were signs, SIGNS. There were signs there, but nothing that you would put together. In retrospect, you go back in your memory and you're like, oh yeah, like that was such a weird day. This happened. This was super weird. He's never washed his clothes before, and I come home and he's doing laundry. Like, I thought it was, just a special treat. But then like, it led to them kind of putting all of these little things that had happened to gathering them all together to help paint like this picture of like, yes, like when I look back, they do, when my brother was little, this is like one of the stories on there, like, when my brother was little, like he was always, just kind of like different from everyone else. Like, he never quite fit in, very shy, very quiet, very, reserved, but he had a mean streak. When mom and dad weren't looking, he would trip us or try to hurt the family dog. We're always afraid that he was going to like hurt the dog and wouldn't leave him alone with the small animals or the babies of the family. Like he started this fire one time, and then they tell these memories that they have. And then, like, as they grow up, like, just a different, it's a really good show. And it kind of gives you an idea of like, I hate it when people just automatically like think that the family is just like they're dumb or they just are complicit. I'm sorry, but that's just so false in so many of these cases. They have no clue. Who in the world in their right mind, unless you're like a true crimer, and then of course, like you're going to suspect people that but if you're just a regular old Joe just going about your life, and a Joe and a Sally, and you're the last thing that you're into is like true crime, or maybe you even watch some on TV, but you're not like thinking of a specific like murder, be like, oh, I think that my husband is a killer. I think that, this is him. Like, it took the news coming on with details and a picture that looked just like Ted Bundy in order for his longtime girlfriend to call him in. And it took many things, and then they just kind of dismissed her tip. And so therefore, oh, well, if they don't think so, then I don't think so, BTK's daughter, like his family, they had no clue there's certain types of killers that can compartmentalize what they're doing. They can literally take their brain can cut off this sadistic, psychopathic like person that they are, and they can become it's a chameleon, like like Ted Bundy, Dennis Rader, Israel Keys. I could just go down the list. Herb Baumeister, like a lot of different killers were compartmentalized. There were chameleons. They were able to blend in just enough not to draw attention to their compartmentalized part of their being. And inside of that, they got to relive and kill, and then relive and kill, and relive and kill, and keep it in that little box. A lot of them did have souvenirs and in hidden places. Obviously, if you found something like that, like there was a show on Evil Lives Here where that was what finally did it, like finding a box of women's underwear in I can't remember the guy's name, serial killer though, in his car. Obviously that would be like, okay, gonna call the police on you now. Like what excuse could you come up with for that? But most of the time they're able to just keep that part, no matter how. Because a lot of time, like in crime scenes, like there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of viciousness, there's a lot of sadism that is seen in, especially in like serial murder and rape. Rape is not about sex; it's about control, and the domination to dominate someone else. And a lot of times, like what we just read when I was looking into Kagan Klein and reading about the patterns and the pathways of like what does the processes that a killer goes through, and they live in that fantasy. So they can separate their fantasy life from their reality and go about having a regular family. But there will be signs, there will be slippage, there will be conversions of the two. The compartmentalized box will open up a bit at times, and that will come out. But you have to really be paying attention. You basically have to know how to FBI profile. You have to know, like, you have to really understand, because it's a generic one. But when the FBI says, did they change? Did they become more interested in the case? Did they start following the news and obsessing over it and talking about this case? Did they turn it off whenever it came on and walk out of the room? Those are signs. It's polar opposite, but they're still signs of involvement. But you're literally not going to turn somebody in based on the fact that they got into looking up the case, or the fact that they don't want to hear about the case. Like, so that's why it's just one little factor, just one little cog in the wheel of things to look for. And if you don't know what they all are, like, I'm not trying to like be up here defending this family. I'm just saying, people writing on the brother-in-law's wall, his Facebook page, and people attacking the daughter and the family, like, just stop it. Like, it's weird. It's super weird. I don't get it. But feeling bad for them is I do feel bad for them, like, can you even imagine? Life as they know it is over. And I think that, like, there is this, I watched it with the Nicole Bowen trials and court dates and stuff, like the families that have to show up and sit on that other side, where the killer is, like Ashley Garth and Garrett Kurtz, and like his family didn't even really come, that they didn't come very often. Her family did, and I was just looking at them and thinking, it's like, how pitiful they were. And you could tell, because she has zero shame. Like, she was the most bombastic, ridiculous acting child. Like, she is a horrible human being, and I hope her appeals fail. But they just will fall, like, so just trying so hard not to, like, um, ruffle any feathers or just, like, embarrassed that they're even there and, like, oh my like, I just felt bad for some of them. Some of them I did not. And the amount of here's one thing not to do if your dad or your husband or your brother or your child end up being a killer and you go to court, don't go up to the mother of the murder victim and be like, I'm so sorry for your loss, but my child didn't do this. There's no way my child did this without knowing what the prosecution has. Like, don't do that in general. Like, whether you think that or not, just like keep that to yourself and don't approach the victim's family to announce that you're sorry, but because then you're really not sorry that their child was murdered, and to make sure you get your agenda heard of your child didn't do this. You have no right to do that, and no one should be doing that. And but maybe people just don't know. So if you're out there and you end up in the shoes of the family, don't do that. And I'll tell you what, Miss Cheryl had so much grace. I don't know how she did it. Like, she was so sweet and, and just literally the best woman. I just love her. She is so awesome. And I know that she would definitely be willing to help Miss Becky and Miss Anna and their families through this time. Like, that woman survived hell and back. You're talking about 5 perpetrators. She was at every single court date that she could get to, which was probably 95% of the court dates. And I'm talking about 2 years of court dates every month for these people. There was a murder trial. She knows what you're about to go through tenfold. And I definitely respect her tremendously. And yeah. So let's go look at this. Bloke has sent me the image that he did. I'm going to show these real quick. Okay, did the right one. Share my whole screen. Righty. Yeah. You see that? See like the shape of the nose there, what I was talking about, of how like similar. Now remember, I've already stated that this is a very, very generic sketch. But you do have the hooded eyes here. You have the hooded eyes. They appear to be a blue-green, not quite blue, not quite green, kind of an in the middle color. Nothing really about the eyes that is distinct other than they're hooded and kind of small. Nose is pretty a normal size. Face shape is a bit square, square jawed, almost kind of diamond in a way, but lower upper lip philtrum doesn't appear to be anything, just average. Cheek height, ears, everything's just really kind of average about this Ricky guy. But yeah, like when he put that mustache on, you could really kind of, like, especially just kind of through the nose. If you tick off this whole section, let's like take the hair off and put a hat on him, that might be better. Oh, he's done this one too. This is like, is this the 2 sketches yeah, that's the nose of the other one. Yeah, I mean, but like literally looks like the guy on the bridge to me. Trying to find. Yeah, like I don't see how he does and that's the thing is like we've all thought like there was something kind of hanging out underneath his um jacket here. But if you look at that, like I mean, easily it fits. This looks, like I've always thought it looked like a ball cap, and like, how my brother used to do this and all his friends, and like all the, like farmers, like different farm kids, boys that I dated, baling hay every weekend, and they just like a thing, like they would take their baseball caps and put rubber bands around them to even make them more curved, to like really curve them in and then put them in the dishwasher. My brother was constantly doing that. For him, it was a baseball thing because he was a pitcher, and it helped to shield, more of his eyes for pitching. But yeah, I think it looks like a baseball hat or something similar. Like I have a little hat that's like in between a scally cap and a baseball cap. And it's kind of like what this looks like. It looks like he's got a jacket on, a blue jacket on, a pair of regular old blue jeans, regular old shoes. Looks like he's got like a sweatshirt on that's got some kind of, the string on it is white. I don't, nothing very, he's just a very generic person. And that does seem to fit with old Ricky Allen. But it is time for It's a Criming Shame, you guys. So I hope that you will all head over there and watch with me because I'm going to be on there too. So I really, really appreciate everyone being here today. I'm glad that I got to do this. This has been it has been my heart, like you have those cases that are just close to your heart. And this one has been very close to my heart, along with a few others. And to see the justice process starting for them, and the fact that Miss Becky doesn't have to post "today is the day," ... She can post "today is the day," ! Is amazing. And in 1 hour, we are going to hear from law enforcement. I thought it was interesting that the FBI are not involved. Like they have been involved in the beginning, in that press conferences, and like, why are they not at this one? Seems kind of weird, but they were not named in the media release. So, okay. But yeah, so we're about to hear what is going on. And obviously, I don't think people should get their hopes up that they're going to just kind of lay out what he did and how he did it and why they think he did it. I don't think that's going to happen. That's for trial. And it depends on, if this guy's take is already, confessed, and they have him dead to rights because he's confessed to it and told them things, then obviously that changes the press conference. But if he is refusing to talk and wants to go to trial and has asked for a lawyer, then it'll be a completely different press conference, and it will be just the basics of, we're not going to learn a lot. So, and I'm hoping we learn more because he's confessed, because he's admitted to what he's done, and because that way that would be much easier on the family. But we don't know yet. So we'll have to see the vibe of what comes up at 10 a.m. today. Again, I should be able to grab grab it really quick. And thank you, Bloke, for letting me use that. That was really nice of you. It's pretty cool that your video shows up on my Google, huh? If you're still here. This is where you can watch it. We're straight from ISP. And I'm also going to post the link for where I'm going to be right now. And I'm late. Let me grab the link for It's a Crime and Shame. Before I leave here. There we are. Nope. And also, oh crap. My good friend Chaotic Beauty and Crime just released her Halloween episode on the Saw murders, and I was the reader of it. I will post that in my community tab here in a little bit. She just released that at midnight last night. So definitely after all of this is over and you want to take a break from things, go over there and, oh, that's their Facebook group. Sheesh. Wanted the YouTube. Oh, goodness. Okay, here they are. And I'm going to go ahead and post Grace too, because I know that he's going to be doing a live today too. And that is where you're going to get, these are where you're going to get the best. Okay. So go to these links here for more viewing. Hi, Freckle Joy, LA Connection. I thank you guys all so much for being here. Grandma Sherry, hello. Yes, let's leave on that note. Justice for Abby and Libby. So hopefully you'll be able to head over to It's a Crime and Shame. And don't forget, 10 o'clock press conference. There are some people that were going, so maybe we'll be able to kind of look and see what they're up to. And I'm excited. Let's do this. Let's today be the day. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.